Hello and welcome to the Life Burst, a Wixoss podcast. We're going to be talking about the set review for Glowing Diva as well as the starter decks that came with Glowing Diva. Here's a list of them. Whoa. So we're going to be going over that. Right now we're going to be talking about blue, and we're just going to get into it to try to keep this episode a little lower. As always, I'm just going to start off with the multicoloreds that pop up here. Any multicolored is basically a staple. It's not amazing, but it will always be something that you're considering to put in your deck, as it's basically the bar of just what makes a playable card. Having the ability to be able to cast all your stuff easily is worth its weight in gold. Going right along into our level ones, we've got Sharkspeare, who I think is probably my favorite art in this set, and also the dumbest name. Level 1 with 3,000 power. It's got the action ability. You put the top 3 cards of your deck into your trash. Then if you have 20 or more cards in your trash, you may pay colorless. If you do, put target Demon Signy from your trash to your hand. Is it good? The Demon's energies are not super great until around set 4, and then at that point there's better level 1 demons, but it is very barely playable during that time frame. So I wouldn't go out of your way to get it, but it is okay. And I do like the art quite a bit. Moving right along into Sharon, Azure Angel, level 1, 2,000 power. Its enter ability, colorless, draw a card. So it replaces itself when it comes in. Is it good? No, it's not good. It's an angel, which matters a little bit in the future. But I don't think that you should ever be worried about card advantage all that much in this game. You are either doing fine on card advantage, or the opponent is restricting your resources and you need a big amount of card advantage, like Troubled, which we'll talk about later on. So I don't think spending something to replace itself is all that great. We have Bradamente, who is one of my guiltily favorite cards, but isn't all that good. We'll explain why. Level 1, 2,000 power. Enter ability, target frozen Signy on your opponent's field gains. At the end of turn, vanish this Signy. If you do, draw a card till end of turn. So basically, you freeze an opponent's Signy, you toss out Bradamente, you say Bradamente on that card, and then at the end of turn, they put it in their trash, right? Sorry, they don't put it in their trash, they vanish it. And then they discard a card. It's fine in see, here's the thing with lane clearing. You always want to lane clear in a way that allows you to attack or stop life burst or stop a life cloth damage, and this does none of those. It does grind your opponent's resources at a very incredibly cheap cost of 3 and at level 1, but it has the rider of it needs to be on a frozen Signy, and sometimes with freezing Signy, you actually want to leave it on the field in order to like stall them out. So and enter starve them, and this is vanishing it. So is it good? The answer is once set 02 comes out, probably it stops being good. I would say begrudgingly. No, I wouldn't even say begrudgingly playable. I would say barely playable for this card. I currently run it, but that's not to say that it is good. All right, we have Antila, Natural Planet. One of the chibi ones. 3,000 power. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Reveal a Signy from among them, add it to your hand, or put it on the field with the rest on your bottom in any order. That's its life burst. Its enter ability is put up to 1 level 1 guard Signy without guard from your trash to the top of your deck. So it's not giving you any real. It's giving you card selection, but it's not giving you card advantage. Not that card advantage matters all that much here. And its life burst ability does lane fill, which is good. I like life bursts that lane fill. That's a personal preference of mine. But its enter ability is pretty bad, and overall not a great level 1 card. I would say not playable. Then we have this one, which is, Regiliacus. Draw a card, discard a card is its enter ability. Its life burst is draw 2 cards. It is a 3,000 power level 1. I don't think you're really needing a bunch of draw cards, but drawing 2 is where you start being at like that burst draw I was talking about, so it's okay. Its enter ability, drawing a card and discarding a card, is more relevant the fact that you're putting a card into the trash. So it's barely playable. Not unplayable, barely playable. And then where it's all of our level 1s taken care of, again, the multicoloreds, go ahead and play. Going on right along to our level 2s, we got Screw Carmilla, Azure Evil. There's a bunch of level 2s that freeze. This is one of them. It's 8,000 powers. Enter ability, freeze, a Signy on your opponent's field, add your top 2 cards of your deck to your trash. If you're looking to mill yourself, if you're looking to freeze, if you're looking for demons, sometimes you're looking for all 3 of those, this is a playable card. If you're not looking to do any of those things, at least probably 2 of those things, then I would not be playing this card. It is very passable, and there are better level 2s that have stronger game-changing effects on them. But it's something to consider. I actually genuinely like He Natural Element. That's Helium. Its powers 8,000. Its auto abilities, whenever this Signy is vanished outside of battle, so not if it's dead in battle, you can down target Elrig on your opponent's field. As a wall, this is actually pretty good. There are a lot of times where you play this and the opponent then goes, well, I guess I can't use my removal on this and I will attack it, which saves you life cloth damage. And if they vanish it so they can get the life cloth damage and you down their Elrig, well, you just saved yourself another life cloth damage. So it basically, in a weird way, does damage prevention. And I think if you're looking to be a stall deck, if you're looking to go late game, this is a very good card. It does not have life burst, which a lot of level 2s have life burst. So it might be something to consider. Moving right along into our other level 2s, here's some more that freeze. Enter, freeze, target Signy on your opponent's field, and its life burst ability is down target Signy on your opponent's field, freeze it, draw a card. As all of these go, there's a lot of them. That type of life burst is actually pretty good against aggression. Its enter ability to just freeze something on your opponent's field is also good. I'd say this card is playable, but there's so many level 2s that freeze. I think you've got your pick of the litter. And then we have Faux Color. I always call it Falcor. It's a vanilla level 2, doesn't really do much. It has 10,000 power. It has the life burst ability of downing 2 Signy on your opponent's field, drawing a card. When you are getting burst down by aggro, this card is good. There will be more bursting down from aggro in later sets, and this card will be even better then. As it stands right now, do you want a thing that downs 2 things and draws you a card, or do you want something that guarantee down 1 thing, freezing it, which is better for long-term solutions, and drawing you a card? The answer is probably, right now, the freezing, but in the future, very much maybe this. If you are playing No Limit or like stuff that lane clears like crazy a lot in your meta, you definitely want to play this. This one I said was playable. This is stable. This is one of the only times that you're going to get this type of effect on something as efficient as this. I'm not saying you have to play it in blue, but you can play it in blue and your deck will never be worse for it. Often it will be better for it. So, staple. You probably want to pick up 4 copies of this in your future and just play it as you need it. Then you've got, I don't even know how to pronounce this one, but I'm going to try. Phantom Aquatic Beast, level 2. It's got 3,000 power. Its auto abilities, whenever it attacks, you get to draw a card. I've never really cared for cards that on attack draw you a single card. Not really worth it, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and say unplayable for that. Moving right along into our level 3s. We've got Captain Hook. It's got a life burst ability of down target Signy on your opponent's field, freeze it, draw a card. Again, like I've said, that's a very good life burst. 12,000 power. Its auto abilities, whenever this leaves the field during the attack phase, you can shuffle 5 cards without guards from your trash to your deck, aka try to not mill yourself completely out. And its constant is, this can't be vanished by your opponent's effects as long as you have 20 or more cards in your trash. So if you care a lot about having a big graveyard, this card's playable. It's not outstanding in that case, by the way. It's just playable. We have Shimpachi. It's got an enter ability of pay a blue and you can draw a card. Again, I don't value that very much. Its action ability is blue, blue, blue. Vanish target Signy on your opponent's field if you have 4 or more cards in your hand than your opponent. That is an okay ability. Blue has a hard time lane clearing, so if you find yourself needing to lane clear and you're heavily in blue, then this is okay. So it's playable on that alone. It's life burst ability, draw a card, your opponent discards a card, it's got 10,000 power. It's playable. Begrudgingly playable is really the answer for it. I wouldn't be excited about that card at all. I Gigo Binds, Natural Planet, 10,000, level 3, has the auto ability at the beginning of your attack phase. If the Signy in front of this is frozen, you may pay blue, colorless. If you do, it gains Assassin until end of turn. I've played this as a when I needed to, and I didn't have any other cards because my cards haven't come in from my singles market yet, and it's been okay. Begrudgingly playable for this set. As soon as new sets come out and make better level 3s for blue, it's no longer playable. Worth mentioning that. Fenrir. Okay, here we go. Staple. That's it. Staple. Good job, everyone. Level 3, 12,000 power. It's a team Signy. It's Uchu no Hajimari. Its team ability is at the beginning of your attack phase. The opponent discards a card. Its enter ability frees up to 2 Signy on your opponent's field. Again, freezing 2 is better than freezing 0. It is a demon that is relevant later down the line, especially in Uchu no Hajimari. So why is this a staple? Well, in Uchu no Hajimari, this is just insane. It basically will help you win the game very, very quickly. It will stop the opponent from basically having 4 or 3 cards in hand a turn to just having 0 over time. The immediate thing is that it comes out and freezes 2 Signy, so it just stops all aggression. There are decks that will play 2 or 1 copies of this that are not the team, just strictly because a level 3 that can freeze 2 Signy on the opponent's field immediately is actually good on its own and playable on its own to stall the game out. So this is a staple. If you are playing Uchu no Hajimari or any of those centers, you probably want to play this in the future. We go over to Saturn, Natural Planet Queen. The base level of all of your level 2 and level 3 Signy in your deck and trash become 1. It has, during your turn, level 1 Signy on your field cannot be vanished by your opponent's effects. Choose one down target 2 level Signy, choose one down up to 2 target Signy on your opponent's field or draw a card. So, like I said, that's a little bit of a rarer life burst. It's got 12,000 power. This card is kind of a combo enabler, right? The ability to make all the stuff in your trash and in your deck level 1s combo very nicely with a lot of white things, specifically a card that we'll review called Libra, and will allow you to basically draw a crap ton of cards or recur a lot of cards from your graveyard to your hand. Is it worth it? This game is not so great at dirtling. If you were dirtling to do this, I'm gonna say that you're probably losing that game. So with that in mind, I would rate this barely playable. There are things in the future that potentially could make this more playable. However, you're going to be at risk of just losing to any deck with a pulse because it's putting in pressure. If you were to compare Fenrir to this, right? Fenrir is an engine all on its own. It stops aggression. It then wins the longer game by grinding out your opponent's resources, and it attacks very well. This attacks okay, it's got an okay life burst, and then it needs other things in order for it to be good. As such, I'd say probably barely playable, and I would skip it if you were trying to do something more powerful. And that's all of our level 3s. Moving right along into our level our spells, we've got 2. We've got Random Drain. You draw a card and your opponent discards a card. If you have 3 Uchu no Hajimari Elrig on the field, instead draw a card and your opponent discards a card at random. Its ability, when it's a life burst, is down target Signy on your opponent's field, freeze it, and your opponent discards a card. Yeah, you don't draw a card. The opponent discards a card. That is actually a better life burst than the draw card. So I would play that life burst over the draw card anytime, because I would rather grind my opponent's resources than draw a card on my end, because especially if I'm playing blue, I probably have other ways to draw cards, and I'm not worried about running out of cards in my hand. The ability, if you just read it as it costs 1 blue to draw a card, and the opponent discards a card, it replaces itself, it just costs an enter. We call those cantrips. That's playable on its own. There are many decks that play 4 copies of this that aren't the team. The team being discard at random so you can get guards or really mess up the strategy is nuts. This card is very, very, very strong. Even without the team, it's strong. And with the team, it's insane. So play that one. The other one that you might want to play here is Trouble. It costs blue and colorless. You get to draw 3 cards. And if you hit the life burst, it's down to Signy on your opponent's field. Like I said, that one's a good one too, and is actually a pretty rare one. So this card is overall a good card. You can play it in any off-color deck where you have a little, like you lightly touch blue, and drawing 3 cards will get you back into the game against any late game deck. The thing that's scariest when you're playing, it's weird because you look at this and you see the Uchu no Hajimari girl in the front, Dr. Tamago, and you're like, oh yeah, so this is good in the Dr. Tamago deck, and it is fine in the Dr. Tamago deck. It's actually not super great, but it's amazing in all of the other decks against Dr. Tamago. Whenever anyone plays Trouble against me as Dr. Tamago, I get very sad. And that is your blue review of Glowing Diva. So if you guys want, go ahead and leave some message for me. Ask some questions if there's anything that you guys want to know more about. And also subscribe if you guys want to see more about the reviews of Glowing Diva. Thanks.